I'm Patrick Bailey with IQlist.com. Today is April 15th, 2022, and in this video I'm going to show off a 3D printed bunny stamp, or rather actually two of them. Okay, so here are these little cute bunny stamps. Now these are some drawings that my daughter did that I turned into stamps. Now at some point I'll go over some of the details. This video is just kind of, well, maybe I'll go over the details, we'll see, on how to turn pictures into bunny stamps, turn pictures into stamps. But there's a whole system I'm working on. And so what that's going to do is going to print out like this with them facing up and these holders right here. And what I've done is they're threaded. So once they pop out, it should be easy enough to thread them in. And there's a reason I kind of made them hexagonal, is so you can actually turn it. I was making them circular and it was kind of a difficult thing. So there's the one stamp, and there's the other. Now when they print out, they're not going to actually work very well. So these have already, you're going to need to sand them down. So what I've been using is this 400 grit sandpaper I just got from Home Depot. Oop, as I drop everything. Cost a few bucks, but not too bad. And then what you need to do is you would take this and just sand it in some different motions, circular and whatnot. It only takes like a minute or two, and then of course it gets dusty, so you need to blow that dust out, which my camera crew is trying to yell at me for blowing dust all over her kitchen floor. So don't do it in the kitchen like I just did. And then you might have to do it back and forth a few times, but then once you get it in a good spot, get that ink, kind of press and roll it around, and you got a bunny stamp. And then I can get the other one, get some ink, press and roll around, and there's another bunny stamp. So I think they're pretty cool. And at some point I will go over details, because I'm trying to figure out a system where anyone can take an SVG file, kind of add it in Openscad, and kind of make their own stamp, reusing this kind of stuff. So I will be showing that off. And also, I've been testing a lot of stamps. It's just good to know that the kind of ink I got doesn't wash off real quick. So I got to be careful about putting this on kids. So you probably need to go find, if you want to put it on skin, you probably need to go find some different formula, different kind that washes off easier, because yeah, these have been on here for a few days. They'll eventually get off. Okay, well now on to showing some stuff off. Okay, first some links. I've already put this up on Printables, so you can go there and download everything. It's got all the bunnies, all the stamps, all the SVG files, and so it's good to go. Now, for those, and yeah, Openscad is actually file still there, but also for those who are just GitHub weenies, I put it out here in a gist, and there'll be a link in the show notes to that too. A couple more things that might be of interest. Here's the sandpaper I'm using. I bought it at Home Depot, $6 a package, 400 grit, it's working great. A couple other things. Here's the archival ink I'm using if anyone's interested. But anyway, there's that. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. So now with that, let's, well, I keep going back and forth what I'm going to do in this video. So what I've decided to do is just kind of show it off right now for anyone who wants to use it and print it out. What I'm not going to do is go over how to make how it was all made. I'll do that in another video, because really I'm trying to make a system of stamps here that anyone can reuse the basic parts and then go figure out how to make their own SVGs, either grab SVGs or show you how to make an SVG. So I'll do that in a separate video. So here we'll just kind of go over the numbers and go over what you can tweak on here. So in this case, I can kind of show a little bit here what's going on. What I am doing, and here I will we'll focus on the nub. So I'm going to focus on the nub using a modifier. Okay, there's this nub STL. I'm not going to go in great detail here, but what I've done is I've designed something in Openscad that has a thread. And that way I can reuse this and then wrap around it everything else. Because doing threads in Openscad is possible, but I am not going to fight that fight today. I'd rather do it in Openscad. So I have this little nub, and then I build around it. Now, in some cases, if I want a really small stamp, that's enough. But in this case, I should say this. If you ever try to make stamps, you can only get so detailed, because this the 3D printer is a 3D printer, so you can't get super detailed on it, so things have to be a little fatter, a little thicker. And so I couldn't really make this, maybe I could make this bunny a little smaller, but I decided to make him this size. It seemed to work pretty good. But as such, he's a little bigger than my minimal stamp, so I made a wrapper stamp. So here's this hex wrapper that goes around. Now in this case, let's say you want to make an attempt to make this bunny smaller, and you can give it a try. In that case, you can just comment out this hex wrapper and hit it like that, and see now you got that little bit of a problem, and you come down here and you can scale the bunny. So I'm going to go change the scale here. Let's see, make him a 0.6, right? Boom, boom. And now he's smaller. But also one thing that affected that is there's these little freckles. And I figure they're not going to work very well because they're just too thin and too high. So I was putting some support underneath them. And the supports are custom support. You'd have to move these around a little bit, which I'm not going to do for this video, but you just have to nudge them to get them under those freckles, and you'd probably be good. Now, it might work without the custom supports, but you'd have to tweak that based on, whatever. But, one thing, let's go the opposite. Let's say that you really want to get a bigger stamp. Well, of course, you could go into the slicer and just make it bigger, but then you might affect your threading. And maybe you just want to keep the threading that size. Well, I don't want to fight with threads. When you make threads, I don't want to really up the size because I just see problems with that. Let's say we want to make it twice as big. We want to make a big old bunny stamp. So now he's really, really big. And then we're going to have to go also change, where am I? The wrapper radius. There's that wrapper, which I have a 15. That wrapper is just for making that hex bigger. And I'll call it 30 right now, which that's way too big. Okay, we'll drop it down to 20. Boom. 25. Yeah, we're still not quite getting it all in there. 28. Maybe I do need to go 30. We'll just say 30. So now that all fits in there, but again, those little guys need to be adjusted. So I am going to, well, what do I want to do? I would have to move those. So that circle, I'll copy this, because I want to keep my original little guys here in this code. I didn't quite code this well enough that if you resize it'll move these little adjusters. Now most of the time I don't think you need these little helper supports, but in this case, I'm afraid you do. So we'll take that one and we'll move it down, let's say -10. Oh, too far. -8. And we'll go -16. There we go. I need to make him bigger, so probably make him 2. Boom, and then say -4, -3, oh, -8, -6.5. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. And then -17, about 16.5. Boom. There we go. And then I could do the same thing with the other one. We could say make it a 2, and let's see. I'll say -16. Yeah, probably -18 and 4. 3.5. Okay, that'll probably work. There we go. That just gives a little support because those freckles are kind of small, so I'm afraid they're not going to work. The rest of it's going to work fine. And so that's how you could easily double the size of this print while keeping that thread the same. And then so the idea is once you have that all in, the idea is you just print it out. You print it out upright, which prints beautifully, but it does not stamp very well, like I explained. Then you sand it down. You're good to go. You hook it together. Life is good. So that's the simplicity of the stamp. So let's go over the numbers for printing 2 bunny stamps. So to print these 2 bunny stamps, as is, not double size like I just made, takes 3 hours and 29 minutes. It takes 3.3 cents with electricity, and it weighs 0.02 kilograms for both of them, which comes out to 40 cents worth of material. So total price to print both of these, all included, is 44 cents or 22 cents a piece. So roughly 25 cents a piece to make these stamps, which I think is quite a deal. It's not, you could print a bunch of these. This is nice. I'm loving this stamping. I'm loving the stamping. I just like it. I think it's fun. But with that, we'll just wrap this one up with knowing that we're going to make some more. We're going to make some more to explain how to make your own SVGs, and also use your own SVGs to make your own stamps. Okay, with that, let's wrap it up again. 3D printing is an adventure that you're on. You can develop your skills and knowledge and take this in so many ways. You can make a business out of this. You can teach others. You can make amazing designs. So design it, engineer it. I have a video coming out in the next few days showing how to fix a complex broken STL file using Fusion 360 so that it can be sliced up in Openscad. I found a way that worked consistently, but the results smoothed out the print, and I was not sure how the details would be when I printed out a large print. Well, I just printed out a test print of a large T-Rex skull I'm working on, and bummer, it lost some of the detail that I think is important. So, back to the drawing board. I will eventually figure this out.